My fiancée left me standing at the altar for her ex who showed up right before the ceremony. I stood there in front of everyone while she walked out, so I turned the reception into my going away party. Moved to another state that week. Now she's been trying to find me for 2 years. All right, Reddit, buckle up because this story is absolutely insane, and my buddy Jake convinced me it needs to be shared. This happened June 2022, and I'm still processing the audacity of what went down. Here's the deal. I'm Kyle, 29 male, and I work in industrial equipment sales for a manufacturing company based in Pennsylvania. Been at the same company since I graduated. Worked my way up from entry level to account manager over 6 years. Made decent money, had my own condo outside Pittsburgh, drove a 2016 Ford F-150 that was paid off, and had a solid 401k going. Not flashy, but stable and comfortable. The truck was my pride and joy. Got it certified pre-owned from a dealer who actually maintained their inventory instead of just slapping a fresh coat of wax on everything. Crew cab, tow package, the works. Spent my first month installing a bedliner and upgrading the sound system, because factory speakers always sound like they're playing music through a tin can. After watching most of my buddies cycle through relationships that imploded over stupid arguments and commitment issues, I'd basically written off finding someone serious. Was focusing on work, staying in shape, and restoring this 1969 Mustang I bought from some estate sale. Engine was completely shot, but the body was solid. Then my sister throws this barbecue in August 2019, and I meet Caitlin. This girl seemed like everything I didn't know I was looking for. Fourth grade teacher at this private school downtown, had one of those laughs that made everyone around her smile, wore dresses that actually looked put together instead of like she grabbed whatever was closest to the door. She had this whole wholesome energy that made you want to be a better person just by being near her. We hit it off immediately over the grill. She thought it was refreshing that I had actual life goals beyond just existing paycheck to paycheck, owned real furniture that wasn't secondhand junk, and could plan a date that didn't involve fast food and a Netflix subscription. Most guys she'd dated apparently thought basic adulting was some kind of personality disorder. Dating Caitlin felt different from day one. Real future conversations happened naturally. She'd ask about my lease renewal, mention introducing me to her extended family, joke about needing a garage for our future house when she saw me working on the Mustang. This wasn't some casual thing where we were just seeing what happened. We were building towards something real. She actually got invested in the Mustang project, which blew my mind. Most women I dated either pretended to care or made it clear they thought my hobby was a waste of time and money. Caitlin would bring me sandwiches while I worked in my building's parking garage and ask genuine questions about what I was doing. Even helped me sand down the rust on the quarter panels one Saturday, wearing these old coveralls she borrowed from her dad. Her family loved me from the jump. Her dad, Robert, was this retired postal worker, total no-nonsense guy who appreciated that I showed up on time and kept my word. We'd spend Sunday afternoons in his workshop building cabinets for her mom's sewing room, while talking about everything from football to power tools to what it takes to build a life worth living. Robert's workshop was basically woodworking paradise. Guy had tools from his grandfather's carpentry business all organized like a museum exhibit. He taught me proper woodworking techniques, and most importantly, that doing things right the first time saves you from doing them twice. Her mom, Patricia, treated me like the son she never had, always sending me home with enough leftovers to feed me for 3 days, asking my opinion on everything, genuinely invested in my success. Had this incredible garden with raised beds and an irrigation system. Started teaching me about companion planting and even let me help expand her greenhouse. They'd constantly tell Caitlin how lucky she was, how I was a keeper, and she'd be crazy to let me go. Robert would drop hints about grandchildren, and Patricia was always making comments about how their future grandkids would be so well provided for with someone like me in the family. These people became my family before I even proposed. By March 2022, I was ready to make it official. Had an $8,200 ring sitting in my safe deposit box at the bank. White gold band with a princess-cut diamond that caught light like a disco ball. The plan was simple. Propose during our 2-year anniversary dinner at this Italian place where we had our first date, then start wedding planning with both families involved. Called her dad 2 weeks before to ask for his blessing like a decent human being. Robert actually got choked up on the phone, told me he couldn't think of a better man for his daughter, and that he'd been waiting for this call since Christmas. Said he and Patricia already started a savings account to help with the wedding, because they wanted their only daughter to have the celebration she deserved. The proposal went perfectly. Got down on one knee right as dessert arrived. She cried happy tears. Everyone in the restaurant applauded like we were in some romantic movie. She immediately FaceTimed her parents, who started crying too. Posted the ring on social media with some caption about finding her forever person. It was everything you're supposed to want. We started planning the wedding immediately because Caitlin wanted a summer ceremony. Her mom knew this event coordinator who could get us into this gorgeous venue, old barn converted into a reception hall with exposed beams and string lights. The kind of place that photographed like a fairy tale. Spent the next 3 months planning every detail. Guest list of 180 people. DJ who specialized in keeping everyone dancing. Photographer who charged more than my first car, but had a portfolio that justified it. Total production that cost close to $35,000 between both families contributing. I handled most of the logistics, because that's what I do. Caitlin would get overwhelmed looking at options, so I'd narrow things down and let her make the final call. Worked perfectly. Her bridesmaids were her college roommates, and her cousin Rachel. My groomsmen were my 3 best buddies from high school, plus my brother-in-law. Bachelor party was a weekend fishing trip to this lake in upstate New York. Bachelorette party was some spa weekend that apparently involved a lot of gossip about how lucky Caitlin was. Everything was locked in by May. Invitations sent. RSVPs collected. Final payments made to all the vendors. Rehearsal dinner scheduled for Friday night at this steakhouse downtown. Ceremony and reception set for Saturday afternoon, June 18th at 3 p.m. The week before the wedding, I moved most of my stuff into storage because Caitlin and I were moving into a bigger place after the honeymoon. 2-bedroom apartment closer to her school with an actual garage for the Mustang. Signed the lease, paid first and last month plus security deposit, had the moving truck reserved for the Monday after we got back from our honeymoon in the Outer Banks. Everything was perfect. Everything was planned. Everything was ready. Then Friday happened. Rehearsal dinner started at 6 p.m. Both families showed up dressed nice, everyone excited and happy. We ran through the ceremony logistics with the officiant, who stands where, when the music cues, all that choreographed stuff that makes weddings look smooth instead of chaotic. Caitlin seemed distracted the whole time, kept checking her phone during the walkthrough, giving half-hearted responses when people asked her questions. I figured she was just nervous about the big day, you know? Wedding jitters are normal. Dinner itself was at this nice steakhouse we'd picked out months ago. Reserved their private room, ordered a bunch of appetizers. The whole deal. My dad gave this toast about how proud he was, how Caitlin was the daughter he never had, how he couldn't wait to officially welcome her into our family. Robert got up and talked about watching his little girl grow up and how he knew from day one that I was the right guy for her. Caitlin barely touched her food, just pushed it around her plate while staring at her phone under the table like she thought nobody would notice. "You okay?" I asked quietly while everyone else was talking. "Yeah, just tired. Long week at school wrapping up the semester." Fair enough. 4th graders get wild at the end of the year, I get it. But then her phone buzzed, and I watched her face go completely white. She excused herself to the bathroom and was gone for like 15 minutes. When she came back, her eyes were red like she'd been crying. "Seriously, what's wrong?" I asked. "Nothing. Just emotional about tomorrow." Happy tears. I should have pushed harder. Should have demanded to know what was really going on. But I didn't want to make a scene in front of everyone, so I let it slide. Red flag number 1, ignored. We left the dinner around 9 p.m. Tradition says the bride and groom don't see each other the night before. So I went back to my buddy Jake's place where I was crashing, and she went to her parents' house where her bridesmaids were all staying. "Dude, you ready for tomorrow?" Jake asked while we're watching TV and eating leftover pizza. "Ready as I'll ever be. Spent 2 months making sure every detail is perfect." Caitlin seemed kind of off tonight, though. "You notice that? Wedding nerves. She'll be fine tomorrow." Jake gave me this look like he wanted to say something else, but decided against it. Looking back, I wonder if he saw something I didn't want to see. My phone buzzed around midnight. Text from Caitlin. "I love you so much. Tomorrow is going to be perfect." I responded, "Love you too. Can't wait to marry you. Get some sleep." Last normal conversation we ever had. Woke up at 7 a.m. Saturday morning in Jake's guest room. Got my suit from the closet. Custom-tailored charcoal gray that cost more than I wanted to admit, but looked sharp enough to justify it. Took a shower, got ready, checked my phone. Nothing from Caitlin, which was normal. She was probably dealing with hair and makeup and bridesmaid chaos. The guys and I grabbed breakfast at this diner, killed a few hours, then headed to the venue around noon. Ceremony wasn't until 3 p.m., but I wanted to be there early to make sure everything was set up right. The venue looked incredible. Someone had clearly been there since dawn, getting everything perfect. White chairs in neat rows facing this wooden arbor covered in flowers. String lights hanging from the rafters, even though it was daylight. Tables in the reception area all set with centerpieces and place cards. Everything exactly like we planned. Photographer showed up at 1 p.m. to get ready shots of me and the groomsmen. We're doing the whole tie-tying, cufflink adjusting thing while the photographer captures it for posterity, trying to look natural while basically posing for staged photos that are supposed to look candid. Around 2 p.m., guests started arriving, filled up those white chairs row by row. My family on one side, her family on the other, just like we practiced. DJ was playing soft background music, everything running like clockwork. 2:30 p.m., I'm standing up at the altar with the officiant and my groomsmen, watching people find their seats, checking my watch, trying not to sweat through my expensive suit. My best man Danny keeps making jokes trying to calm my nerves. Relax, man. In 30 minutes you'll be married and this will all be a blur. That's what I'm counting on. 2:45 p.m. The bridesmaids start walking down the aisle in their navy blue dresses, everything going according to plan. They take their positions across from us, smiling, holding their bouquets. Then we wait, and wait, and wait. The music that's supposed to cue Caitlin's entrance just keeps looping. People are starting to shift in their seats, checking their phones, whispering to each other. I'm standing there trying to look calm, while my heart is doing this weird hammering thing in my chest. 3:05 p.m. Still no bride. Her mom Patricia gets up and practically runs toward the bridal suite, comes back 5 minutes later looking absolutely panicked, whispers something to Robert, who immediately stands up. Both of them disappear behind the venue. I look at Danny. What the heck is happening? I don't know, man. Maybe dress emergency? But deep down, something in my gut knew this wasn't a dress emergency. 3:15 p.m. The whispers are getting louder. People are full on talking now, checking their phones, taking pictures of the situation like it's some kind of entertainment. I'm still standing at the altar like an absolute idiot, because what else am I supposed to do? That's when I see him, walking through the main entrance like he owns the place. Tall guy, probably 6'2", wearing jeans and a leather jacket like he just rolled off a motorcycle. Dark hair, stubble, the kind of guy who looks like he makes bad decisions for a living, and somehow makes it work. He walks straight past all the seated guests, straight down the center aisle, straight toward the bridal suite in the back. Robert tries to stop him. I can see them having this heated conversation near the entrance to where the bridal party is getting ready. Robert's getting red in the face, pointing back toward the exit, but leather jacket guy just pushes past him and disappears into the back. I'm standing there in front of 180 people watching this unfold like it's a movie I didn't buy tickets for. 5 minutes later, Caitlin emerges from the bridal suite, in her wedding dress, holding leather jacket guy's hand, walking toward the exit. The entire venue goes dead silent. You could hear a pin drop. Every single person watching as my fiancée, in the dress we spent months picking out, holding the bouquet her mom made, wearing the veil her grandmother wore, walks past all our guests holding another man's hand. She doesn't look at me, doesn't look at anyone, just keeps her eyes forward and keeps walking. I'm frozen, literally cannot move. My brain has completely shut down trying to process what's happening. Patricia is crying. Robert looks like he might actually tackle the guy. The bridesmaids are standing there with their mouths open. My groomsmen are all looking at me, waiting for some kind of signal about what to do. They make it to the exit and she finally turns around, looks directly at me for the first time. I'm sorry, she says loud enough for the front few rows to hear. I can't do this. Jordan came back and I just can't. Then they're gone. Out the door. Into whatever vehicle he showed up in. Gone. The venue erupts in chaos. People standing up, talking over each other. Some of Caitlin's relatives running after them. Patricia is full on sobbing while Robert tries to console her and simultaneously looks like he wants to commit violence. I'm still just standing there at the altar. The officiant touches my shoulder. Son, I'm so sorry. That's what snaps me out of it. The pity in his voice. The way everyone's looking at me like I'm some kind of wounded animal. My brother-in-law walks up. Kyle, man, what do you need? What do I need? I need to rewind the last 10 minutes. I need to understand what just happened. I need to not be standing at an altar in front of 180 people who just watched my bride run off with someone else. But none of that's happening, so I make a decision. I walked over to the DJ booth. Guy's standing there looking absolutely shell-shocked, not sure what to do with himself. Change of plans, I told him. This isn't a wedding anymore. It's a going-away party. What? Play upbeat music, dance music, party music. We've got a room full of people, an open bar, and a reception dinner that's already paid for. Might as well use it. I grabbed the microphone before I could overthink it. Everyone, can I have your attention, please? The chaos died down. Everyone's staring at me. As you just witnessed, there's not going to be a wedding today. Caitlin made her choice, and I respect that. Some scattered murmurs. Patricia's crying harder. But here's the thing. We've got this amazing venue, incredible food, an open bar, and a DJ who's very good at his job. All of it's paid for and non-refundable. I took a breath. So here's what's going to happen. This is now officially my going away party, because as of Monday, I'm moving out of Pennsylvania, starting fresh somewhere new. And I want all of you, my family, my friends, the people who actually showed up for me today, to help me celebrate the next chapter. Dead silence for about 3 seconds. Then my dad started clapping. Then my mom. Then my sister. Then Jake and Danny and the rest of my groomsmen. Soon the whole room was applauding. Bars open, food will be served in 30 minutes, and the dance floor is ready. Let's make this a party worth remembering. The DJ, bless him, immediately switched to Lizzo. People started moving toward the bar. The energy shifted from funeral to celebration in about 5 minutes. I went to the bathroom and called my boss. Hey Jim, you know that regional manager position in Colorado you mentioned last month? The one I said I'd think about? I'm ready to accept if it's still available. Kyle, isn't your wedding today? Not anymore. Long story. But I need out of Pennsylvania like yesterday. Can you make it happen? Give me until Monday morning. I'll call you back. Hung up, splashed some water on my face, looked at myself in the mirror still wearing this stupid expensive suit. Well, I said to my reflection, that just happened. Went back out to the reception. My family had basically formed a protective circle around me, making sure I was okay, asking what I needed. Robert and Patricia came up looking absolutely devastated. Kyle, we are so sorry, Patricia said through tears. We had no idea. We didn't know she was even in contact with her ex. Who is he? I asked. Robert's jaw clenched. Jordan, her ex-boyfriend from college. They dated for 3 years before she met you. He moved to California for some job and they broke up. We thought that was ancient history. Apparently not. If I ever see him again, Robert started. Don't, I interrupted. He's not worth it. Neither is she, apparently. That hurt to say, but it was true. The party actually got pretty wild. People were dancing, drinking, eating this incredible plated dinner that some poor catering staff had to serve while processing the drama they'd just witnessed. The photographer actually stayed and took pictures, said it was the most memorable event he'd ever shot. Somewhere around 8 p.m., after most of the older relatives had left, my friends convinced me to make a speech. Short version, Caitlin chose someone else. I'm choosing myself. Moving to Colorado on Monday for a fresh start. This is the last time I'm talking about this, so everyone get it out of your system now. Ask your questions, say what you need to say, then we move forward. People ask the expected stuff. Was I okay? Did I see it coming? What was my plan? Answered honestly, no, I wasn't okay, but I would be. No, I didn't see it coming because I'm apparently terrible at reading signs. My plan was to leave Pennsylvania and never look back. To new beginnings, my dad said, raising his glass. To new beginnings, everyone echoed. The party went until midnight. DJ played every requested song. Bar stayed open. People danced like they were trying to sweat out the awkwardness of the whole situation. By the end of the night, it actually felt like a celebration instead of a tragedy. Sunday morning, I woke up in Jake's guest room with the worst emotional hangover of my life. Checked my phone expecting messages from Caitlin. Nothing. No apology, no explanation, no acknowledgement that she'd just blown up my entire life in front of 180 witnesses. But I did have 3 messages from her friends. First from Rachel, her cousin who was a bridesmaid. Kyle, I'm so sorry. We had no idea she was planning this. She swore yesterday that she was 100% committed to marrying you. None of us knew Jordan was even in the picture. Then, from her college roommate Melissa, this is absolutely insane. Caitlin completely blindsided everyone. We're all in shock. Just wanted you to know that we think she made a horrible mistake and you deserve so much better. Finally, from her other college friend Ashley. Hey, I know this probably doesn't help, but Jordan showed up at her parents' house Friday night. Apparently, he'd been texting her for weeks, saying he made a mistake leaving her, that he wanted her back, that he was moving back to Pennsylvania for her. She told us she'd already told him no. Guess she changed her mind. So there it was. Weeks of secret communication while we were planning our wedding, while I was coordinating seating charts and finalizing the menu and making sure her parents felt included in every decision. She was having some emotional affair with her ex who promised her adventure or excitement or whatever I apparently wasn't providing. My boss called at 10 a.m. Job's yours if you want it. Regional manager for the Mountain West Territory. Based in Denver. Salary bump. Relocation assistance. Company vehicle. Can you start in 2 weeks? I can start Monday. Kyle, take a few days. Jim, with all due respect, I need to get out of here immediately. Monday works for me. Okay then. Monday it is. HR will send over the paperwork. Welcome to Colorado. Spent Sunday packing my entire life into my truck and a small U-Haul trailer. Didn't have much since most of my furniture was already in storage for the move to our new apartment that was never going to happen now. Called the landlord of that new place, explained the situation, Asked if he could return my deposit since I never actually moved in. Guy was surprisingly cool about it. Said he'd mail the check to my parents' address. My family came over to help me pack. Nobody knew what to say, so they just worked. Loading boxes, wrapping dishes, taking down wall art. My mom kept trying to get me to eat something, but I had zero appetite. You're really leaving? My sister asked. Nothing left for me here. What about your job? Your friends? The Mustang? Taking the truck? Quitting the job I already had since I got a better one. And Jake's gonna store the Mustang in his garage until I can figure out how to get it to Colorado. Friends can visit, but I can't stay here. Robert and Patricia showed up around 3 p.m. Patricia was still crying. Robert looked like he'd aged 10 years overnight. We wanted to return this, Robert said, handing me a check. From our savings account for the wedding. We know it doesn't cover everything, but it's what we'd set aside. Keep it, I said. Kyle, please. We feel responsible. You're not. You raised your daughter the best you could. What she chose to do isn't on you. Patricia hugged me for a solid 2 minutes while crying into my shoulder. You'll always be family to us, no matter what. If you ever need anything, anywhere, you call us. I will. I wouldn't. By 7 p.m. Sunday night, everything I owned was packed. Said goodbye to my parents, my sister, my buddies. Promised to stay in touch. Meant it in the moment, but also knew things would fade once I left. Jake walked me to my truck. Man, I still can't believe this happened. Makes two of us. You gonna be okay out there? Eventually. Just need distance from all this. Call me when you get there. And hey, the Mustang's safe with me. When you're ready to finish the restoration, I'll help you transport it. Thanks, brother. Drove away from Jake's place at 8 p.m. Hit the highway heading west. Watched Pennsylvania disappear in my rearview mirror and didn't look back. The drive to Denver took me 2 full days with stops to sleep in the truck at rest areas. Had a lot of time to think. A lot of time to replay every moment of the relationship, looking for signs I missed. The way she'd been distant the last month. The way she started talking about wanting to travel more, see more of the country, not get tied down to one place. The way she'd mentioned Jordan exactly twice in passing, both times saying he was just an old friend, checking in from California. Should have known. Should have pushed harder when things felt off. But honestly, part of me was relieved. Better to find out who she really was before the wedding than after. Better to get humiliated in front of 180 people than get divorced in a year when she decided married life was too boring. Arrived in Denver Monday afternoon. Company had set me up in a short-term corporate apartment while I looked for something permanent. Reported to the regional office Tuesday morning, dove into work like my life depended on it. New territory, new accounts, new challenges. Exactly what I needed. First month in Denver was a blur. Worked 12-hour days learning the territory, meeting clients, establishing relationships. Came home to an empty apartment and collapsed into bed. Repeat. Didn't post anything on social media. Didn't update my relationship status. Didn't acknowledge what happened, except to tell my new coworkers I'd recently moved from Pennsylvania for a fresh start. My parents would call weekly asking how I was doing. Gave them the same answer every time. Fine, staying busy, adjusting well. Jake sent me updates about the Mustang and life back home. Apparently, Caitlin and Jordan lasted all of 3 weeks before he decided Pennsylvania was too small town for him and went back to California. She tried calling Jake asking for my new number. He told her to kick rocks. Dude, she showed up at my place crying last week, he told me during one of our calls. Full waterworks, saying she made the biggest mistake of her life, begging me to tell her how to reach you. What did you say? Told her you moved on and she should too. She tried the whole, but we were going to get married thing. And I reminded her that she's the one who ran out on the wedding. Not really your problem anymore. She say anything else? Just kept saying she didn't realize what she had until it was gone. That Jordan promised her adventure and excitement. But it turned out he was just unemployed and living in his friend's spare room. Classic. I should have felt something hearing that. Vindication, maybe. Satisfaction that karma caught up with her. But I felt nothing. Month 2 in Denver, I started actually living instead of just existing. Joined a gym, started hiking every weekend, explored the city. Colorado was incredible. Mountains everywhere, craft breweries on every corner, people who were friendly without being nosy. Met a group of guys through a hiking meetup who became my new crew. Nobody knew about my past and I didn't volunteer it. Just showed up, put in the work on the trails, grabbed food after. Normal guy stuff. Started dating casually around month 3. Nothing serious, just coffee dates and dinners. Made it clear up front I wasn't looking for anything heavy. The dating scene in Denver was completely different from Pennsylvania. Women here seemed more independent, less concerned with timelines and wedding plans. One girl I went out with, Lauren, asked me directly on our 3rd date, "So what's your deal? You seem great, but you've got this wall up. Moved here 6 months ago from Pennsylvania. Had some relationship stuff that didn't work out. Just taking things slow. We dated for a couple months before mutually deciding we were better as friends. She introduced me to her social circle, which led to more friendships. Slowly building a real life in Colorado. Work was going incredibly well. Exceeded my sales targets 3 quarters in a row, got recognition from corporate, even got sent to a leadership training program in Chicago. The promotion to regional manager was proving to be the best career move I'd ever made. Meanwhile, my phone stayed silent. Caitlin never got my new number, never found me on social media. I'd deactivated everything back in Pennsylvania, never tracked me down. As far as I knew, she had no idea where I'd gone, exactly how I wanted it. By the 1 year mark, I'd completely rebuilt my life. New job I loved, new friends, new hobbies, new routines. Bought a condo in a neighborhood I actually wanted to live in. Even started seriously dating someone. Ashley, a nurse at the local hospital who I met through mutual friends. Ashley was the opposite of Caitlin in every way that mattered. Independent, straightforward, had her own full life that I was invited to be part of instead of being expected to build everything around her. We'd been together 6 months, and things were comfortable without being suffocating. She knew about Pennsylvania, but not the details. Just that I'd left a bad relationship and moved west for work. Didn't push for more information, which I appreciated. Jake called one afternoon while I was hiking with Ashley. Man, you're not going to believe this, but I need to tell you. Caitlin's going full detective mode trying to find you. What do you mean? She's been messaging everyone we know from high school, asking if anyone's heard from you. Showed up at your parents' house twice, but they told her to leave. Called your old job, but they wouldn't give her any information. She's legit trying to track you down. Why? From what I hear through the grapevine, Jordan left her again after she took him back the second time. Dude apparently has commitment issues or something. Now she's convinced herself that you were the one who got away, and she needs to make things right. I laughed. Couldn't help it. That's not how this works. I know that. You know that. But apparently she doesn't. Her mom Patricia called your mom last week, practically begging for your contact info. Your mom told her absolutely not, and that Caitlin needs to move on. Good. Just wanted to give you a heads up in case she somehow finds you. Girl seems pretty determined. Thanks for the warning. Hung up and told Ashley the abbreviated version. She raised an eyebrow. So your ex-fiancée who left you at the altar is now trying to track you down after her other relationship failed. Apparently. And you're going to ignore her completely if she finds you, right? Obviously. Good. Because that's insane behavior. And you don't owe her anything. Exactly. The second warning came from my sister 2 months later. Kyle, Caitlin somehow got my number and has been texting me asking where you are. I blocked her, but I wanted you to know she's still looking. Did she say what she wants? To apologize. To explain. To fix things. Her exact words. I told her there's nothing to fix because you've moved on and she needs to do the same. She started going off about how you two were meant to be together, and she made a mistake, but she's learned from it. She left me standing at an altar in front of everyone we know. There's no coming back from that. Preaching to the choir here. Just be aware she seems pretty obsessed with finding you. The third sign came from Robert of all people. He texted me out of nowhere. Kyle, I need to warn you. Caitlin's been asking Patricia and me if we have any way to reach you. We told her no and that she needs to respect your privacy. She's not handling it well. Just thought you should know she's actively trying to locate you. I appreciated Robert's loyalty. He'd always been a good guy who got stuck with a daughter who didn't value the right things. But I wasn't worried. I'd covered my tracks well. Changed my phone number, deactivated all social media, moved across the country to a city where nobody from my old life had connections. Unless she hired someone to find me, which seemed extreme even for her. I was safe. Year 2 in Colorado, life was legitimately good. Got promoted again to senior regional manager covering the entire Mountain West. Ashley and I had moved in together, talking about getting engaged eventually, but taking our time. Finished restoring the Mustang. Jake had shipped it out finally, and I'd spent 6 months doing the final work in my condo's garage. Life was stable, happy, peaceful. Then my mom called, sounding stressed. Honey, Caitlin found me on Facebook and sent me this long message begging me to pass along her contact information to you. I didn't respond, but I wanted you to know she's escalating. What did the message say? A lot of apologizing, a lot of, I've changed, a lot of begging for another chance. Said she knows she doesn't deserve it, but she needs to at least talk to you to explain everything. I'm not forwarding it. Good. Thanks for the heads up. But then the messages started coming through other channels. Jake received a Facebook message asking him to tell me that Caitlin was sorry and wanted to talk. My sister got a voicemail on her work phone somehow asking her to pass along a message. Even my old college roommate got contacted through LinkedIn. She was casting a wide net trying to find anyone who might know how to reach me. The most concerning one came from my dad. Son, Caitlin showed up at our house again yesterday. Your mother called the police. She was served a trespassing warning and told not to come back. This is getting out of hand. Did she say what she wanted? Same thing she's been saying to everyone. That she made a mistake, that she's sorry, that she needs to talk to you. Your mother told her in no uncertain terms that you've moved on with your life and she needs to do the same. She started crying on our porch saying her life fell apart without you. That's not my problem. I know. We're handling it. Just wanted you to be aware in case she somehow tracks you down in Colorado. That seemed unlikely. I'd been careful. But then I got a LinkedIn connection request from an account with no photo and a generic name. Clicked into it, and the only detail was that they worked in relationship counseling in Denver. Immediately suspicious, I declined and blocked it. 3 days later, another one. Same vague profile, same Denver location, different generic name. Blocked again. Then Ashley came home from work looking concerned. Something weird happened today. A woman came into the ER asking if I knew Kyle Morrison, who worked in industrial equipment sales. Said she was an old friend trying to reconnect. My stomach dropped. What did you tell her? I said I didn't know anyone by that name, and I wasn't allowed to give out personal information about staff or patients anyway. She left, but something felt off about the whole thing. What did she look like? Ashley pulled up her phone and showed me the hospital's security footage screenshot she'd gotten from their security team. I grabbed this after she left because it seemed suspicious. There she was. Caitlin, standing in the emergency room lobby looking exactly like I remembered, but somehow more desperate. She'd found me. Not just my city, but my girlfriend's workplace. That's my ex-fiancée, I told Ashley. The one who left me at the altar. Ashley's eyes went wide. You're kidding. Wish I was. She's been trying to track me down for over a year, apparently. Guess she finally succeeded. What are you going to do? Absolutely nothing. If she shows up here, we call the police. If she contacts me directly, I block her. She made her choice 2 years ago, and I moved on. Should we be worried? Like, is she dangerous? I don't think so. Just desperate and delusional. But I'll file a police report tomorrow just to have it on record. That night, I got a text from an unknown Colorado number. Kyle, I know you're in Denver. I know you've moved on. I know I don't deserve anything from you, but please just give me 5 minutes to explain everything. That's all I'm asking. Caitlin stared at the message for a solid minute. 2 years ago, this woman walked out on our wedding holding another man's hand in front of everyone we knew, humiliated me, destroyed months of planning, threw away everything we'd built, and now she wanted 5 minutes to explain? I blocked the number and went to bed. So here we are, Reddit. 2 years since the wedding that wasn't. 2 years since I stood at an altar watching my fiancé choose someone else. Last I heard from my family, Caitlin's still trying to find ways to contact me. She apparently got wind that I'm with Ashley and has been messaging my sister asking if we're serious, if we're engaged, if there's still a chance for her. My sister's response was perfect. He's happy. Leave him alone. But she won't. Got another LinkedIn request last week from another fake account. This one had a detailed backstory about working in industrial equipment. He even had fake job listings, but the location was Denver, and something about it felt off. Blocked it immediately. Jake called yesterday with an update. Dude, Caitlin's apparently doing some soul-searching trying to process her mistakes or whatever. Someone suggested she write you a letter to get closure. Her friends are telling her to just let it go, but she's convinced you're her soulmate or some nonsense. I'm not reading any letters. That's what I told her when she asked me to forward one. Said you moved on, and she needs to do the same. She say anything else? Just that Jordan leaving her the second time made her realize she gave up the best thing that ever happened to her. That she took you for granted because you were stable and reliable while she was chasing excitement. That she's grown up now and knows what actually matters. Cool story. Still not my problem. Ashley and I are talking about getting engaged this year. She knows the whole story now. Not just the abbreviated version, but every detail about Caitlin. The wedding, the escape to Colorado, all of it. Her response was simple. You dodged a bullet and built a better life. Don't let someone who didn't appreciate you then ruin what you have now. She's right. Guys, we are so close to hit 100,000 subscribers on this channel. If you are not subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. It really helps hit that 100,000 mark. Thanks for making this dream come true.